Number 6. Madeline Connolly. On May 4, 2017, 23-year-old Madeline stopped by in Montana to visit her relatives before driving to Alaska for a job interview. On her first day, she went out for a quick hike with her dog in the Great Bear Wilderness National Park in northern Montana. A day later, her family and friends noticed that she didn't arrive that night for dinner. They went out to look for her in the forest and found her car abandoned at the Bear Creek trailhead near Essex. They immediately called authorities for help, and the rescue team dispatched multiple helicopters equipped with infrared cameras for the search. During the first day of the hunt, helicopter crew found grizzly bear tracks mixed in with human prints in their ongoing search. Initially, they speculated that Madeline was chased and attacked by a bear. However, there was no blood in the surrounding area, nor any sign of a struggle. Also, when the crew continued to follow the tracks, they discovered the bear that was responsible for the footprints, but they didn't find Madeline. For the next 4 days, rescue teams couldn't find any more clues to lead to Madeline's whereabouts. Her parents and more family members had flown to Montana to help with the search, and authorities even recruited more members in their rescue team. On the last day of the search on May 10th, the helicopter crew finally found Madeline and her dog. They were discovered walking along the Spruce Creek drainage, just east of the middle fork of the Flathead River. The location was 5 miles away from where her car was found abandoned. Other than being tired and hungry, Madeline and her dog didn't suffer from any major injuries. When she was asked how she got lost, she simply replied that she took a wrong turn while hiking and went off trail. She explained that she only had a sweater and overalls with her, but was able to survive by drinking water from creeks and finding shelter under trees. After her rescue, she went back to her hometown, Chicago, where she spent some time to recover. Number 5. Spencer Hunt. On January 28, 2017, 20-year-old Spencer went missing for 2 days while hiking near the Ammonite Falls in Nanaimo, British Columbia. Spencer was with a group of hikers, which included his mother and family friends. He is described as the adventurous type. During the hike, he was feeling competitive and decided to go ahead in front of the group and hiked away from the rest of them. By the time he had gone too far ahead, he realized that he was lost and had a hard time retracing his steps, so he decided to keep walking forward in hopes that his family will meet him at the end of the trail. However, after hours had passed, he didn't meet up with anyone in his hiking group, and this was when he was reported missing. A full-scale search was initiated. Helicopters and drones were deployed, and dozens of volunteers from local communities combed the vast wooded area. Spencer spent his first night in a little cave he found behind a small waterfall, and he was not carrying any camping supplies for spending the night. Then on the following day, he set out into the wild and came across a river that he began to follow. From there, he saw one of the search helicopters fly over him. He waved and yelled at them, but unfortunately, the pilot didn't see him. He continued to follow the river until nightfall. Around this time, the temperature dropped below 0 degrees Celsius, and Spencer wasn't prepared for the weather conditions since he was only wearing a red sweater, blue jeans, and running shoes. The next day around 10 a.m. in the morning, he was discovered by the rescue helicopter and was sent to a local hospital for assessment. After his checkup, the doctor stated that he was lucky because he was dehydrated and was close to suffering from hypothermia. Number 4. Shannon Lee Frazier. On September 21, 2014, Shannon and her boyfriend Heath Cassidy went to the Golden Hole Reserve Park in Australia. During their vacation, the couple had an argument, and Shannon decided to leave their picnic area and have a quick hike at the nearby trails. Later that night, she failed to return back to the camping site, and her boyfriend wandered around the bush for 3 hours, calling her name, before he reported her missing. Her disappearance sparked an intensive search and public appeals from family members. The police also even looked into the possibility that she may have been the victim of foul play. Despite a massive operation involving helicopters, quad bikes, and methodical searching through the area, authorities were unable to locate her. After 15 days, the police finally called off the search, and they assumed that she may have died and was attacked by a wild animal. 2 days after the search was called off, a hiker who was walking near the Golden Hole Reserve Park saw Shannon stumbling from the bushes looking disoriented. The location where she was discovered was only 50 meters away from where she was initially reported missing. Her clothes were torn apart, she had multiple insect bite marks, her skin was severely sunburned, and she had lost 40 pounds of body weight. Shannon told her family that she had lived off of fish from the creek and insects, and had spent 3 days lying in the water to relieve her burns. Police believed she somehow managed to travel outside the area being scoured by search crews. She explained to them that she came across the colored markers left by the search teams and followed them back to the picnic area. She was treated in hospital for third-degree burns and underwent surgery to remove splinters from her feet and legs. After her recovery, Shannon talked to the media and discussed about her story. She told them that during her ordeal, she heard a voice at an old Aboriginal ground on the day before she was found. The voice told her, "Only you can do it." She stated that the voice gave her the strength to carry on. Number 3. Andrew Gaskell. On October 20th, 2016, 26-year-old Andrew was reported missing as he was hiking alone in Mulu National Park in the Sarawak region of Malaysian Borneo. 2 days prior to his disappearance, he indicated that he'd be walking in an area with poor mobile phone coverage, saying in his social media post that he wanted a genuine cultural experience outside main tourist attraction. For the first week of the search, rescue teams couldn't find Andrew, and there weren't any clues to lead them to his whereabouts. Volunteers from a rural village that had contact with Andrew before he disappeared had also joined the search in the national park. On the second week of the search, authorities dispatched more helicopters, and it was this time that Andrew was discovered. They located him about 5 kilometers from the Mulu airport in a remote area known as Hidden Valley. The section of the park is known for its harsh terrain, steep cliffs, and vast limestone caves. Despite appearing gaunt and frail, he was apparently conscious and was able to speak to his rescuers before he was airlifted to a nearby hospital. Andrew explained that he got lost after descending a mountain into a bushland where there were a lot of different trails. He stated that, "I ended up spending the whole night just wandering." Number 2. Liang Shen Yu. On March 9th, 2017, 21-year-old Li Yang and his 19-year-old girlfriend Liu Chun were hiking in the northwestern of the Himalayas in Nepal. In the later hours, they were confronted with a snowstorm, but they decided to keep going and not turn back to their lodge. The two had no guides or porters and were carrying their own food, tent, and sleeping bags. After losing their bearings, they fell 100 meters off a cliff into a ravine near the Narchet River. For the first 2 weeks, they survived on food they had in their rucksacks, but after they ran out, they only ate salt and water. A search was launched when their family lost contact with them and quickly requested for help. The search went on for 2 weeks, but due to extremely bad weather in the area, it was temporarily suspended. The search resumed again on April 20th, and a week later, a rescue helicopter went to an isolated area where they saw crows hovering above, and there they found the 2 missing hikers. The area was so deep and narrow that it was impossible for a helicopter to land. The team instead used a long line to airlift them out and bring them to the nearby hospital. They discovered Liang alive, but sadly, his girlfriend Liu Chun died 3 days before their arrival. Liang was treated in the hospital, and it was reported that he lost 65 pounds of body weight during his ordeal. Although he didn't have any physical injuries, the doctor stated that he was not very stable psychologically. Number 1. Robert Bogutsky. On July 11, 1999, 33-year-old Robert, a former fireman in Alaska, set out on a bicycle trip across Australia's Great Sandy Desert. Robert carried about a week's worth of food, including chocolate bars, biscuits, and tinned tuna. He also brought his full camping gear, as well as his well-thumbed Bible. He had about 26 liters of water, all carried in panniers on his bicycle. After 15 days, a group of tourists found Robert's bike abandoned on the trail, and alongside the bike, they found footprints trailing into the wilderness. The discovery triggered a massive full-scale search operation, but after 12 days of searching, police found no trace of Robert. They called off the search and suggested that he had either hitchhiked his way back to the nearby village or had an accident in the wilderness. Robert's parents remain optimistic about the situation and believe that their son is still alive. They hired trackers and organized a party to continue the search. The members of this group suspected they would be doing little other than retrieving a body from the bush. However, the search party was encouraged when undetected tracks were found in the desert sand. The rescue team also found the word "help" above a cliff in the Edgar Range. These new clues gained public interest, and the Australian media swung into action. They sent journalists and photographers to report on the story. The following day, a news helicopter spotted Robert's abandoned camp. They discovered a few of his possessions, including a water bottle, a chocolate bar wrapper, a notebook, and a Bible. Then a day after that, another news helicopter found Robert walking in the northern reaches of the desert. He explained to them that after he ran out of food, he managed to survive by drinking muddy water and eating flowers. He lost 20 kilograms during the ordeal, and surprisingly, after the doctors examined him, he was in good condition, and there were no signs of any sunburn nor any blisters on his body.